Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. I am happy to see so many familiar names and faces. Thanks again for joining us today. My name's Megan Wood, and I'm Director of Recruitment and Admissions in the University at Buffalo School of Management. Today's session is a Q&A session with our UB Full-Time MBA Faculty Director, Dr. Ian Tarrant. This session is intended for students interested or admitted to or an applicant of the on-campus full-time MBA program. Many of you submitted questions during the registration process, and we appreciate you taking the time to do so. We'll cover them during today's session before we open it up to other questions. There's going to be a lot of wonderful information covered, so I definitely encourage you to listen attentively and then type in some questions into the chat because we will have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so we'll be sure to answer everyone's questions. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping rules. Please, if you're not speaking, please keep yourself on mute so that everyone can hear what's being presented. Secondly, this session is being recorded and we'll be able to share it with you in about 1 week's time once it's edited and transcribed. We also have a wonderful digital library on management.buffalo.edu, so feel free to check out some other wonderful recorded sessions. And I also wanted to answer a few frequently asked questions that were submitted before we get started. So the first question someone asked, is the GMAT or GRE required? No, the UB School of Management uses a test optional admissions process. You may upload a GMAT or GRE score report to your application, but are not required to do so. If you've taken the exam and you have a strong score report, go ahead and upload it, but you're definitely not required to submit a GMAT or GRE exam. Students have asked, how long is the program? Can I speed it up? When do classes begin? The program is 2 years in length and admits in the fall semester. Our full-time MBA students take general management core classes during the first year, which we call our management core year, and most complete the credit-bearing internship in the summer, and then students take elective courses in year 2. And Dr. Tarrant will go into more detail, but we have 10 different focus areas within our full-time MBA program. So it is a 2-year full-time MBA program, and it is in person. We do offer an online MBA program, which is a different experience, but today's session, we're really going to focus on the full-time MBA. But if you're interested in the online MBA, we do have a session tomorrow that will go into details on that. We've had questions, is the program STEM? Yes. This is a STEM MBA. There is a STEM MBA curriculum, which provides an additional 24 months of OPT for a total of 36 months of OPT for F1 visa holders. So we do have a STEM MBA curriculum within our UB full-time MBA program. We've had questions, are course prerequisites required? Is work experience required? So no, there are no course prerequisites that are required, and work experience isn't required to apply. But at this point, I'm going to ask Dr. Tarrant to provide some detail on what competitive applicants bring to the program and also talk about more benefits and curriculum information. Dr. Tarrant?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Tarrant. I am, like Megan said, the faculty director of our full-time MBA program and actually the online program as well. So if you pop in tomorrow, you'll see me again in that session. I've been at UB for 8 years now. I've been teaching in the MBA program the entire time. I teach the financial accounting class. I'm going to go through and answer quite a few questions for you guys, but if at any point you guys have additional questions or you want some clarification on something, please feel free to go ahead and throw that in the chat. It's easier if you send messages to the entire chat rather than to me directly because I'll be presenting and they'll probably get lost in the shuffle. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about what we expect of students when they enter the program and then what a competitive applicant would look like. So typically there are no course prerequisites. And so we don't expect you to come into the program with any predetermined set of knowledge that for any of the core courses. We do have a couple boot camps over the summer. We call them boot camps, but they're basically like modules that help you get acquainted with some of the language that you're going to see throughout the program. One of them is actually related to financial accounting, which is my class. And so I'll ask you to do some summer work so that you are, again, familiar with the language that we use so we can hit the ground running. Our core courses, which are the classes that you take in the first year in your program, are accelerated in the sense that they aren't typical 15-week classes that you would have during a traditional semester. They are accelerated and condensed into 7 weeks. And so everything goes very quickly. They basically move at twice the speed of a normal class that you might have had as an undergraduate student. And so it's important to make sure that you are familiar with things like how a corporation is structured, and we'll give that information to you over the summer. We also have a boot camp related to Excel work to get you prepared for the statistics class that you'll also take in your first semester in the program. And so if you are hesitant or you're worried about your skill set coming into the program, you can certainly reach out to me and I can give you some resources, but we don't actually expect you to have any knowledge that you need to come into the program with. So there's no prerequisite for like having a business background, for example. We accept people from all walks of life. We have a very diverse set of students in the program. And so just by virtue of your application, if you've been accepted into the program, we think and know that you have the skills to be successful. And so we're not looking for anything in particular in terms of coursework. Successful applicants are frequently people who do have some work experience, although we do have students who come right from undergraduate studies into the master's program. But we often see people with, especially international students, with a couple years of work experience. We don't have a specific background in terms of academics that we're looking for. So we have business students who go into the MBA program. We have humanities students who go into our MBA program. We've got engineering students, surgical residents even. And so we've got students from all walks of life who come into the program. And so it's a very diverse group. Other things that applicants bring, we're looking for, essays that address the prompts. So letting us know what you're expecting to get out of an MBA program and how UB can help you be successful in your ultimate career goals. Understanding that, we have certain standards that we like to maintain, so a certain GPA. And so we're looking for competitive GPAs and work experience and that sort of thing. Thing I'm going to do next is give you a little bit more information about the program itself. So some details about the curriculum. So I mentioned that, and Megan mentioned too, that the first year in the program is primarily dedicated to core studies. And so everybody in the MBA program in their first year is taking the same 13 core courses. And then there's a little flexibility in the schedule for you to take an elective class in the spring semester. But these are going to cover foundational topics in management. So there's an accounting class that I teach. There's statistics, there's communication, so you understand how to present and communicate information to a diverse set of audiences. There's organizational behavior. We have an ethics class. We've got finance, operations, and supply chain management. So it hits the gamut of all the core topics in any management education. The second year in your program is going to be dedicated to electives. And so you can choose your path in the program. Like Megan mentioned, we have a variety of different focus areas. So if you have an interest in finance in particular, we have a curated set of classes that you can choose from, and then you can say that you have focused in finance or in supply chain and operations management or in a variety of different areas. The courses in the first year of the program, like I mentioned before, are structured so that they are primarily accelerated. And so they happen over 7 weeks rather than a 15-week schedule that you might be familiar with from your undergraduate studies. And so this allows us to deliver more information in that first year in the program to cover all of these topic areas that otherwise would have to stretch over a longer period of time. In your second year in the program, you're taking electives. Almost all of our electives are scheduled over 15 weeks, and so it's a typical semester that you would normally think of. There are 10 different concentrations that we currently offer, or focus areas. I'm going to call them concentrations by mistake, but we're going to call them focus areas going forward. So those are things like finance. If you have an interest in healthcare management, we've got a focus area in that. If you have interest in entrepreneurship or life sciences entrepreneurship, consulting, marketing, supply chain management, information security management. And so we've got a variety of different areas where we've curated lists of classes that would suit your needs. And so you can also focus in more than one area. So if you have an interest in finance and marketing, you could choose to double focus in those areas, or you don't have to focus in any of them at all. Um, Couple more questions that I wanted to address for you guys. In addition to your coursework, we have a variety of professional development opportunities that are available for MBA students. And so there's different ways you can get involved on campus. We have a student club called the Graduate Management Association, and they do things like organize volunteering efforts for students to participate in. They organize social events. They organize all sorts of different extracurricular activities for the students to enjoy so that we can create a sense of community within the student body above and beyond just the coursework that you guys are going through on a day-to-day basis. We also have a global programs opportunity available for students, and that's sort of like study abroad, where you can learn about graduate management education in other parts of the world, and there's also opportunities to travel. So we have in the past sent students to Africa, we've sent them to Europe, sent them to South America, and various other places. There's also domestic opportunities as well. In addition to that, we have a couple programs that I'd like to highlight here. So we've got a program called Leader Core, which is one of our uh, core programs in the MBA program, where it's a leadership development or leadership training program that spans the entire 2-year program, where we pair students with a corporate partner who is going to act as a leadership coach. There is a leadership mentor that we have assigned to each student. These students are going to get experience working with others and developing their leadership skills so that once you graduate, you have the ability to lead in a diverse set of teams in other areas. We also have a program called Corporate Champions. And so one thing that we do in the MBA program is we are going to, in your core year, place you into teams, and then you will work with those teammates throughout the entire core curriculum, which is your first year in the program. The other thing we do is within those teams, we partner you with a local organization, which is a corporation in the Buffalo area, who immediately allows you to start networking and building a network within the Buffalo area and beyond. And so with that corporate partner, you're going to do things like a site visit, you'll do leadership and executive interviews. So you'll meet with their executive level management team to interview them and see what's allowed them to be successful. Um, you will work in those teams throughout your first year in the program. And the first 7 weeks in your program culminates with a case competition that you work on within those teams and on behalf of your corporate partner. Additionally, we have opportunities if you have an interest in nonprofit work. We have the Jordan A. Daniels Nonprofit Board Fellowship Program. We've got something called the Projects Clinic, which allows you to work with organizations that are looking for expertise that our students can provide, helping them out with various challenges that they face. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, there's a Panache Technological Entrepreneurship Competition. And so there's all sorts of opportunities for you to get involved in both extracurricular and co-curricular opportunities while you're here with us. Got some questions about what type of roles our students have been able to apply for and then ultimately be offered in terms of employment after graduation, and what resources we have for you so that you can be successful in your job hunt. With those questions, I'm going to refer you to our Career Resource Center website. So we have a dedicated Career Resource Center within the School of Management, and we have different individuals within that Career Resource Center who can help guide you through the process of obtaining an internship and obtaining a full-time opportunity. You'll be matched with effectively a career advisor based on what your interests are. So if you have an interest in finance, we've got somebody in the Career Resource Center who can specialize in that and help you find an opportunity that suits your needs within that industry. A couple other questions that we got. And I just realized that I haven't been sharing slides at all. And so unfortunately, you've just been listening to me, and I'm not going to start right now because I'm basically at the end of what I was going to present. So I apologize for that. But there's a couple other questions that I wanted to address. Um, let's see, we got questions about, whoops, I apologize here. I got to find an email. Sorry, my computer just closed Outlook, so I'm going to keep.
No worries. I'm going to answer a few questions that are coming through the
Okay.
chat pretty quickly. Okay. So just to reiterate, although we've noted it in the chat, to apply for assistantships and on-campus employment, you have to be admitted and deposited, meaning you have to pay your $500 deposit to be able to access assistantship and on-campus employment postings through the university's Career Design Center. Our students are have a great benefit of having access to two career centers. Our students have a dedicated career advisor in the School of Management's Career Resource Center, and I put a link in for our UB class of 2024 placement stats in the chat. But additionally, you have access to post your resume and search for jobs through the university's Career Design Center. Most on-campus assistantship opportunities and on-campus employment opportunities are posted through UB's Career Design Center, although there may be a few that you'll see posted on the CRC as well. If you are still looking to apply for fall 2025, we are still accepting applications. Obviously, for international students, you just have to determine if you have time to apply, be admitted, or receive an admissions decision, and then secure your I-20 and visa. There still is time to do that for fall, but the longer you wait, obviously, the shorter that timeline is. So, if you have a completed application, we do interview our MBA candidates as part of the admissions process. So I can't advise when you would receive a decision at this point, probably within probably 3 weeks after submitting a completed application, maybe a little bit less. Our 2026 application will open on July 1st, and our full-time MBA program admits in the fall only. UB does offer scholarships. We have already awarded many scholarships to our admitted students. The priority deadline for scholarship consideration was January 15th. So at this point, we've made all of our offers. If we have any students that decline, we will make additional offers. But at this point, offers have been made. They range anywhere from $2,500 to $15,000. Okay, with that, Ian, you ready? I'll turn it back over.
Sure. So I have a list of questions that were submitted here. And Megan has already covered quite a few of these questions in terms of funding and available job opportunities and that sort of thing. Um, there's questions about career services. And so, like I mentioned, we have a dedicated career services center within the School of Management that only services School of Management students. And so once you arrive here on campus, you will be linked together with a representative from the Career Resource Center who specializes in whatever industry you've declared as something that you're interested in working in. And they will help guide you through the process of finding an internship, finding a full-time offer, working to update your resume, making sure you understand how to interview and that sort of thing. There's also a class that we offer in the fall semester of your first year that prepares you for those same things. So understanding how to ask questions during an interview, what are employers looking for, how to present yourself appropriately and make sure that you are presenting the best version of yourself in an interview. And so there are quite a few different ways that we support students in their ultimate goal of finding a job and entering a certain career or industry after graduation. Somebody asked about healthcare. We do have quite a few students who actually come in with a healthcare background and they're looking for management skills to complement their healthcare skills. There is a focus area that we have in healthcare management, so that's something that those students frequently take advantage of. In addition to having just full-time MBA students who are in part of our traditional programs, we also have a number of dual degree students. And so you will have students in your class who are pursuing an MBA, but they're also pursuing another degree at the graduate level at the same time. And so we have students from the Masters of Public Health program. We've got students who are also medical doctors. We've got students who are surgical residents. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you to network both within the program and within your classes, and then also beyond that with other programs on campus to make sure that you are developing the skills that are really necessary to help you be successful in your job search and then ultimately in whatever career you choose post-graduation. There's a question that says, what areas of MBA studies do you specialize in? I don't know if that's a question for me, but I specialize in financial accounting. And so My background is as a certified public accountant in the state of Michigan, actually, in the United States. More generally, though, the MBA program, like we mentioned before, has 10 different focus areas that cover a wide variety of fundamental topics in management. So if you have an interest in any one of those areas, we encourage you to pursue the classes that are listed as potential electives in those areas, and then you can talk about your experience in those when you discuss your focus area in the MBA program as part of the interview process. Um, what study strategies do I recommend for MBA students? The biggest thing for MBA students, especially at the beginning of the program, is making sure you stay on top of everything on an ongoing basis so you don't fall behind. The classes are accelerated, and so it's easy for you to fall behind in a class, especially if it's one that you don't have any experience with in the past. So that frequently happens in my class, actually, which is financial accounting. And so it's something that's quite different. It's a sort of like a language that you have to learn. And so you have to understand what these words mean. You'll learn about them and you will apply them in every other class that you take as part of the MBA program. But it takes a little bit of time to become familiar with the discourse in a class like financial accounting. And so you want to make sure that you're trying to stay on top of things on an ongoing basis. There's also a lot of things competing for your attention. So in addition to your coursework, there's all of these co-curricular and extracurricular activities. You want to make sure you are balancing those well so that you are not too focused on something that really falls outside the scope of what you're being graded on in the program. Let's see. What resources would I recommend for supplementing your learning? So once you deposit and you declare your intent to actually join us in the fall, at some point relatively soon, at the beginning of summer, you will be turned over to our student services team, and you'll have meetings over the summer with an academic advisor who can guide you through the things that are necessary to do to prepare yourself to start classes in the fall. And they'll actually kick off things like resume discussions and how to present yourself appropriately then. Um, During that time is when we'll also introduce these boot camps that we recommend students take advantage of over the summer. So there's one for accounting, there's one for Excel. So if you're not completely familiar with or comfortable with working with Microsoft Excel, then take advantage of that resource so that once you arrive on campus in the fall semester, you're available to hit the ground running in the classes that utilize that software, which is going to be a fair number of them. But again, we don't actually look for any particular background. So by virtue of being admitted into the program, we think that you have the skills to be successful as is. And we're looking to enhance those current skills that you already have over the summer. But there's nothing in particular that we're looking for. Let's see.
I do want to add to that. If you are an admitted student, hopefully you are well versed on your admitted student portal, which is the same as your application portal, but once you became admitted, it looks a little bit different. On the lower right-hand side, we list recordings from all of the admitted student webinars that we've done. And in addition to upcoming webinars, we will have one for on June 12th, and that will be with one of the CRC academic advisors. So that's definitely one that you'll want to see. You'll be able to register for that by tomorrow. And additionally, we did a program specific webinar in March, and there on several slides, the MBA core faculty came together to provide a list of resources that might be like fun reading for you to do over the summer or fun podcasts to listen to over the summer to kind of get yourself in the MBA mindset. It's a fun list. It is not a required list, but I would say if you're an admitted student and you forgot about that webinar, you didn't have a chance to watch it, go into your admitted student portal, watch that recording, and you'll find some fun resources to make the most of your time over the summer. But again, your academic advisor, her name is Julia Braun, and the CRC will be doing additional things over the summer to really get you acclimated and ready to start classes in the fall.
And then we have a very robust orientation program too that starts the week before the semester begins. So we bring you in a bit early, and there's some team working exercises that we have you go through. We introduce all the resources that are available across campus to make sure that you're successful and make sure that you are again ready to hit the ground running once classes start the following Monday. One of the last questions that I wanted to address here is what are the biggest benefits of an MBA at UB? And I think the biggest benefit of an MBA degree at a school like UB is first the network that you are going to tap yourself into. And the MBA is a transformational degree in the sense that it's going to allow you to completely alter the trajectory of your career. So if you are in a field that's unrelated to business, this is where you want to be if you want to break into management or you want to understand how business works in addition to whatever other discipline that you've already built up skills in. And so this is the best way for you to accumulate an incredible breadth of knowledge over a relatively short period of time. It sounds like 2 years is a long time, but it'll go very quickly and you will learn an incredible amount and gain an incredible amount of knowledge over that 2 year period. And the student that you enter the program as in the fall semester will be completely different than the student you exit the program 2 years later at graduation, which for our current students is actually on Friday of this week. And so it's incredible to see the difference in every aspect of a student, the way that they communicate, the way they present themselves, the way they think. Everything is enhanced as part of this MBA degree. In addition, you get to move to a city like Buffalo, which is an area that's up and coming. And so it obviously has a long history, but it's growing in very different ways in various industries. And so there's a lot of opportunity in Buffalo right now. And so I think it's more than anything else, it's an experience that will transform who you are from start to finish and allow you to be successful in whether it's the same industry that you currently work in or a brand new industry. It's going to give you all the skills that are necessary to be successful long term in that industry. Okay, I have not been paying any attention at all to the chat. So if there are any questions that linger that I can answer, please feel free to either yell them out or I will take a look at the chat here now.
I think we're caught up on the chat.
Okay.
Again, just to reiterate, our priority deadline for scholarship consideration was January 15th. So we've awarded many scholarships. If we have some students that decline those offers, there could be an opportunity for additional scholarships for fall 2025. But if you're looking to apply for fall 2026, definitely keep that deadline in mind because you'll want to try and hit that deadline. And again, our 2026 application will open on July 1st. Again, talking about Buffalo, so our the nickname or what our city's called is a city of good neighbors. And I really do think that permeates through into the university, the School of Management, and our program. So I know that students really feel a personalized experience when they're in our program and have access to a vast amount of resources, faculty and staff that really care. So I definitely can speak to that. But if you have additional questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask it or type it into the chat.
I did get one direct question to me about how long the program is. If you are part of our traditional 60 credit MBA program, then it should take you 2 years if you stay on track full time. If you are part of one of our dual degree, collaborative degree programs with another graduate program on campus, it might take you longer because you'll also have to work through that program's curriculum. But typically, the full-time MBA program is finished in, so like if you start in the fall of 2025, most people will finish in the spring of 2027.
Thanks. Just to follow up. So our 2026 application will open on July 1st. Our full-time MBA program admits in the fall. So it's a 2-year full-time program. First year is what we call MBA Core. All students are taking the same MBA Core classes. We divide our incoming class into 2 cohorts. Some classes like communications are even smaller than 40 to 50 students. And then in year 2, that's really where you're focused on those electives and the 10 different focus areas. Some students choose 1 focus area. Sometimes students will choose 2. Other times students are like, I'm not concerned about the focus area. I just really want to take these different electives. And that's fine as well. And I think that's where you have a dedicated academic advisor and a dedicated career advisor that will work with you to help choose the classes that really make sense on you, regarding your career aspirations. Our full-time MBA program admits in the fall. Any additional questions? If we missed anything, please feel free to retype it. I hope that we didn't, but please feel free to retype it if you have questions. Okay. Well, I think Dr. Tarrant did such a great job covering so many details that hopefully everyone has a good insight into what the program looks like. Again, we offer information sessions, we have advising appointments, we have admitted student webinars, we'll have thematic webinars. So be sure to check the website, look at your emails. If you're an admitted student, check your portal for upcoming events. But again, thank you so much for your time today. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Tarrant to close us out.
I just want to echo what Megan said. We have an incredible breadth of resources and opportunities for you to pursue if you decide to join us as an MBA student this fall. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me individually if there's something I can answer for you. I can put my email address in the chat here in a moment. Otherwise, we are extremely excited to welcome you guys on campus this fall. I will also probably check in on you guys over the summer and a couple of those student services, webinars, and various other things that are available for you to kickstart yourself before you get here in the fall. And again, thank you for taking some time to meet with us today. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, please reach out and let me know.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.